For those of you who haven't taken part in ceremony before, you're probably acclimating to what I mean and what this is going to be like. First of all, when I use the word ceremony, what I'm talking about is an intentionally designed experience for transformation. In order for it to precipitate transformation, it has to be designed with the understanding of how transformation occurs. And having long studied that and been a wilderness rites of passage guide for over 10 years, I get the pattern. And wayfinding also holds that pattern in it. So that's the intention. So as we embark on this journey, on the being that you get to step more fully into to claim more of your power and more of your essence, I want you to constantly hold in your awareness the fact that you have an intention between you and life. At the moment you commit to a ceremony, it begins. Because life is already likely showing up with patterns for you to notice around that intention, evoking questions for you to hold. Because an intention is a lot less like a concrete thing that you came up with and it's done. It's more like a living, breathing creation that is constantly teaching you about what it wants to become as you yourself are changing. So pay attention. Hear how it unfolds and changes and the paths that it takes, because what you end up with may be very different than the intention you stated coming in. And that's okay. But you get to be in relationship, and it'll keep showing you where to walk the whole time. Now the last thing is, I want to show you a very simple and powerful framework that has always rung true to me. As we go on this alchemical learning journey together, you'll find that I use symbols or stories or body postures to try to transmit to you feelings, because alchemical learning and alchemy itself is about the transmutation of feeling. And this framework is the best way I've been able to describe and encapsulate for myself the feeling of going on ceremony, and powerfully designed ceremony that brings out big insight. So here we go. This is a matryoshka, Russian stacking dolls. So when you commit to the ceremony, that's when it begins. That's when the experience opens. So you've already been in it, maybe for months, maybe for some of you just a few days, depending on how long it was. Then we begin kicking off the program. You begin preparing. You start stepping into your schedule of participating. Then we dive deeper and deeper into our exploration together. You start to discover things in your internal terrain, and you start facing big things that you weren't aware of before. And you're also preparing your life to go on the quest, to step away from work, to go offline for days, and to be in the outer wild with your inner wild. And we drop into a deeper layer of listening. You're preparing your body, you're preparing your consciousness. You're learning all the things you need to know to walk out on the land. We cross over the threshold, and now you're on your own experience. You've done all this opening and all this preparation. You've taken symbolic action. You're sitting in the quiet, and now you have this receptivity for what's going to come. And then in some moment, because of all this preparation you've done in your orienting phase, something happens. Oh, and look, you get this little thing. And it might look tiny. It might feel tiny in the moment. Or it might feel like a thunderbolt or something in between. Because this thing that you get is a vibrational realignment of your whole system around a new blueprint that you get to go home and live. It's tiny like a seed, because a seed contains the blueprint for a whole pattern, a whole expression, a whole life cycle. In a lot of ways, the wisdom of the universe is in every single seed. You get it? You're moved. You might not understand it. You might be elated. You might be like kind of overwhelmed, but that's what you got. You have no idea what you're going to get. But because we did all this preparation, you get something. And then you know what it is. And you close up your ceremony and you thank the land and we walk back together. And then we come tell our stories and we harvest the meaning and we vision the actions we get to take when we go home, the things we get to do to integrate. We have our celebration and then we wrap up and then we begin the work of landing. You think about practical designs of the things that you can do and can change and can reaffirm for leadership to serve the whole. You design experiments for your life and maybe your organization, that thing that you've been wanting to do or to say, you bring it to life. You start creating all this connective tissue in new ways with new people, envisioning who you get to be now. And we've taken care to close back up all the things we opened. That's the power of ceremony that's held thoughtfully and prepares you, because I'm not here to tell you what you're going to get. The best I can do is help create experiences for you to shed as much of the blockage as you're holding, as much of the skin that you're ready to let go of, so that when you show up, you have the receptivity to welcome what comes. And then we get to support each other in bringing it into life. It is amazing, and it's an honor to do with you now, because it's fun and it makes life more meaningful. So that's what we get to practice together.